Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Alex StarCraft here, bringing you guys my first StarCraft 2 commentary of the week of March 19th. That was Sunday. I am very excited to be bringing you guys a game from the IEM Season 6 World Championships in Hanover, Germany. Took place about 2 weeks ago between Dignitas's dSelecT, a Gosu Terran in the bottom right-hand corner as the red player, and MouzMana, the green Protoss, in the top left-hand corner, equally Gosu. And the map is going to be one that we all know and mostly love, Tal'Darim Altar. Big macro map used in many tournaments. Those of you that do not know it, you've got your main, no ramp to your third, but a bit of a choke, which can actually be walled off with 3 pylons, much to the dismay of many a Zerg player for a long time. And a natural expansion, pretty quick direction to your third, which is blocked by destructible rocks. Your third has its own big pathway and ramp. Your natural has its own ramp, which is pretty large, a choke into the natural, which can be walled off. And you have a fairly accessible third or fourth behind a little bit of shrubbery down here, a little bit away from your base. And also, the map, if you didn't notice, has a circular expansion path, I guess you would say. As mana expands, he'll expand here, then over here, and then down here, he'll be expanding, or if he chooses to expand down here, he'll be expanding towards his opponent. As dSelecT expands here, then here, then here, he will be expanding away from his opponent. So, that does give a little bit of advantage to the players in some ways, but of course, both these players are good enough. I'm sure they can manage with little map-specific things like that. So what do we have dSelecT doing for his opener? It looks like we are going to have a 1 Rax expand. Very standard. We should see the Rax, or the orbital, I should say, or command center. Orbital just went down. We should see the command center going down in about 200 minerals time when he can afford it. Looks like from mana, we will probably be having a similar build. He does only have 2 on this gas, which is probably intentional. What that will do is allow him to get enough to get Warp Gate right as the Cyber Core pops. He'll only have about maybe 10 extra gas, so very nice timing, but he'll have as many minerals as possible. And here we go. There's the command center from dSelecT. As I said, big macro map players like to do that. At the same time, he does have 2 Marines out now, which he will be able to do a little poking and prodding with. Grab the Xel'Naga Tower, make sure there's no, who knows, proxy 2 gateways right over here, or something ridiculous like that. You always want to be careful of those things. Mana, by the same token, building a pylon over here, wants to make sure there's nothing, no crazy shenanigans happening. And there we go. There is the Warp Gate as well as the Stalker coming out. And at this point, I would not be at all surprised to see Mana start to save up a little bit of minerals, so he can indeed go ahead and grab that expansion as soon as possible. And I think that is what we see. Look at that. A probe headed out right when he hits 400 minerals. Very nice timing on that. And there we go. Both players, 4 minutes and 40 seconds into the game. Both players have an expansion on the way. dSelecT is about 30 seconds from being done. Now, one thing that you definitely have, again, a lot of Terran and Protoss players doing these days is just because you can throw down your expansion and be relatively safe early on, and really that's just because the game is evolving towards a macro standpoint, simply because Zerg players, for example, particularly against Protoss, they'll go 3 hatcheries before their spawning pool is finished, or almost before their spawning pool is finished, which allows Protoss and Terrans, even against each other by the same token, to get only 1 barracks and then a command center, or only 1 gateway, and then the Cyber Core only for the purpose of starting Warp Gate. And I guess the Stalker really helps with map control, and Sentries are pretty good as well. But right now we see dSelecT is going to see if he can maybe grab that tower, but looks like no, he will not. I believe he did scout that probe, but he's going to be pulling back, and the Stalker is actually going to possibly take out this SCV, but he has to be really careful of those Marines. A Stalker can infinitely kite Marines. It has a longer range by, I believe, 2, is it? No, by 1, and it is faster. So what it can do, of course, across the map, if these Marines were to push out, the Stalker can shoot, run, shoot, run, shoot, run, and theoretically never take damage, but most likely it would just never take any damage that wasn't just to a shield. Mana could regenerate all of that health and then be totally fine with the Stalker, just good as new for the fight. But looks like dSelecT will not be pushing out, just a little bit of scare tactics to maybe force a few more units out of mana, few less probes, and as well as grab that Xel'Naga Tower, get a little bit of map control. And we do see dSelecT throwing down those 2 gases. We might see a third one soon, but no, I guess that would be a little early, as I learned while I was trying to play Terran in 4v4s last night. You don't really want 3 gases too early. It's not, it just doesn't work out with the macro that well. And we do see Mana grabbing his 3rd gas. He does have a robotics facility out, which is just completely standard versus Terran. You get it out, get out that observer, and you generally will get a 2nd one, so you can keep tab not only on their bases and on their tech, but also just exactly what they are doing with their army, what kind of composition they have, where their army is. And do we have anything from dSelecT? We actually have a quite fast robotics bay coming down from him. That'll be done by about the 8-minute 40-ish second mark. So he has the potential to, especially if he wanted to use Chrono Boost, he could have a Colossi almost around the 10 minutes mark, which is of course very fast. But with rushing for a Colossus, I guess he's not quite rushing, but getting a very early one, you of course have to be really careful. If you have a Colossi and you don't really have anything else with it, it is just going to get picked off extremely quickly by stimmed Marines and stimmed Marauders. Now let's see, does Mana have 2 observers? No, it seems as if he only has 1. There's one of them, and no, he is not making another. We do see, oh, there are 2 on the field. I lied. Up there's the other one. One you see is just getting to the base, so one is just leaving Mana's base right now. And so he's being very active with that. Of course, scouting is so important at this high level of play. He needs to go in, check all the add-ons. He is going to see the factory and the starport. He's going to see them switching off, and he has to be careful because no, looks like dSelecT did see that. He is going to pick off the observer, and that is a nice little win for him just for health, which of course can be gotten by those medevacs. He is going to pick off an observer, and that does, of course, a little more damage than just the units lost, simply because of the fact that now he won't have nearly as much scouting information. He's going to be a little more timid, won't be quite as on point with his compositions, of course. And we have a 3rd base on the way from Mana. Does dSelecT show any signs of getting one? He is running out here. He is going to break down those rocks. You see, they do go down quite quickly, even when the Marines and Marauders, or Marauder, is not stimmed up. And we have the +1 armor actually coming out from dSelecT as opposed to the attack. And this is probably simply because Protoss, particularly Colossi, with Colossi, because they'll do so much damage and they do it in a splash radius, that armor adds will mitigate 10-15 damage a shot, simply because of the fact that the Colossi does 2 shots to multiple units that does a lot of damage. So that 1 armor can really make a big difference. There's a lot of little calculating things you have to think about like this in StarCraft 2. It looks like we are going to have a drop potentially coming out here from dSelecT. He does have control of the Xel'Naga Tower. And does Mana have any idea this is coming? I do not think his observer saw it. No, his observer is simply standing in the attack path, so it will not be aware of this drop coming, but it looks like he does have some stalkers over there, and he should definitely see this. You see, oh geez, I hit back instead of V again, but I shouldn't have gone that far back. Yeah, I went back a few seconds, so once again, we have the drop coming out, but I'm just going to talk about everything a little more analysis now. So we do have the Thermal Lance about to finish for Mana. He has his 2nd Colossus on the way, I believe. I don't know where the first one is, if it is anywhere. No, nope, he does have 2 already. As a matter of fact, we'll have to see, is this drop going to get spotted or intercepted? It looks like it will. The stalkers can almost definitely reach it. We see they can see it. They are going to start shooting. dSelecT immediately pulling them back, and Mana is now totally aware. Okay, he is going to try and go for some drop play if at all possible. dSelecT, of course, also has an eye on that 4th expansion just in case he might have it, and of course he does now know. Okay, so Mana does have a 3rd. But it doesn't look like he is going to be throwing down a 3rd of his own. Instead, he's actually going to be pushing out for an attack. He's about to have infantry armor level 1 finish in about 30 seconds. So this actually could be a very nice timing. He's got 2 medevacs. I believe he has the 2 more. Yes, he does have the 2 more over here. And he's actually, it looks like he's going to go for a 2-pronged attack at the natural as well as at the 3rd. Looks like he might go for the 3rd first. I'm trying to keep tabs on everything. No, he stims in. He is going to snipe that pylon a little bit because he can't see the high ground with the medevacs. So there goes Mana's army running over. But at the same time, he stims over here into the natural. This is not enough stalkers to kill all of this. And he's going to be doing a lot of damage. You see those stalkers dropping like flies. His army has pulled away to the 3rd now. The Colossi are in position, but these units dropping again have the potential to do a lot of damage. Looks like because Mana chose to move most of his units over here, that will get cleaned up. At the same time, these units killing a fair number of probes, doing what damage they can to the Nexus, picking off those stalkers as soon as they warp in, which is very nice for him. And now dSelecT has nothing that can shoot up over here. So that was a nice little thing for him. So let's see. Workers lost. He killed 14 workers right there. So not shabby at all. We take a look at the income tab. We see he is up 60 to 58 on the workers. Select is, I should say, 59 to 60. And of course, he also has mules when he chooses to drop those. Right now, he has a good amount of energy on these. I would not be surprised to see him spend it soon. He's actually probably just going to spend it on this since it's about to finish. And then his income will just kind of skyrocket. We actually have a drop going on in here, killing a good number of other workers, and the Colossi managing to clean that up along with Zealots and whatnot. So that killed another 4 workers there. Sorry I missed that a little on the mini-map, but did do a bit of damage there. And Mana is now being very careful, and this definitely puts him on the defensive. And of course, as shown, just allows Select to start expanding and whatnot. But we do see kind of the ultimate bio death tech, I guess you could say, on the way. We have Psionic Storm in production, about 50 seconds from finishing from Mana. Does he have any High Templar on the field yet? It looks like he does have one, which of course by the time Psystorm finishes, he should have more than enough energy for one. And if he can get just one good storm, that can do a world of damage. He's 2 more High Templar on the way, in addition to his, I believe it is 3 Colossi that are, yes, 3 Colossi chilling at the various expansions, one over here, one in between. He actually has a very nice spread on those. It'll make it so not only if one somehow gets caught off guard, he won't lose all 3, he'll simply lose one, but it also makes sure that no matter where Select could choose to attack from, there is most likely going to be a Colossi there, or at least closer than if they were all together. And of course, again, Colossi, you take a look at their damage, they do 17 damage times 2 with a range of 9 in a splash radius. So that is, again, just kind of insane, particularly against these bio units, which of course have Marines in particular, 55 health, no armor, or I guess 1 armor. So overall, those Colossi are going to do very well, and there are storms on the field now. He does have that finished. And it looks like Select running up, he is going to see what is coming. He's going to run immediately. The Zealots do have Charge. The Stalkers do not have Blink, but Charge much more effective than Blink in the ZVT matchup, or PVT, I should say. And he does, Mana actually being very smart, leaving High Templar and Zealot and a Stalker back at the base. The High Templar will be able to storm in case there is any drop coming. And this is something you'll see a Protoss player do it a lot of times to kind of ward against harassment, just because, particularly if you force the opposing player to multitask a lot, if they are not looking when you choose to storm, you will do a lot of damage. And wow, beautiful reflexes there from Mana. He sees one coming and feedbacking the medevac, both go down, and there, in that 4-second span, Select falls behind on supply, and that causes Mana to say, okay, I'm going to move out here. He is behind by 8 on supply, despite Select losing that simply because Terran Macro is just so powerful with this many barracks, this many Vikings. And we do see he is producing Vikings, but he does not have Ghosts. He's not going to be able to take out those High Templar extremely easily. Looks like he just has Ghosts on the way now, or at least he just has Personal Cloaking. Looks like this command center will not be going down because so many of these units cannot shoot up. He needs to be careful to keep this army together, and it looks like, no, unfortunately, that is not going to go down. But we see Select trying to muster up a defensive position, particularly at the 3rd. If Mana attacks into this, it could be very bad for him. We see a little bit of Sim City with these command centers. He will not be able to get a very good surround, but he has the potential to get some really good storms running in. Actually, huge EMPs going off on all the units. He did have Ghosts, an okay force field, but it actually just hits the Zealots for the most part. The storm is doing a good amount of damage to the Vikings. It looks like Mana is a little bit up on supply, but now falling behind, and he is storming. But Select is doing a wonderful job. He's dodging back, and for the most part, it is just hitting his own Zealots. Goes in there, snipes some High Templar, and it looks like Mana is definitely going to be forced to retreat. Select, not only with that defender's advantage, but with also just a huge number of bio units. He does have the 2-2 upgrades. Does he have 3-3 on the way? No, he does not, but at the same time, we have a bunch of Marines and Marauders running in here, and none of Mana's forces are in position. And look how fast his Nexus falls. It is going to go down, and that puts Mana at 3 base versus, I guess, almost 4, so he's not in terrible shape. He has had that 3rd base longer, but this entire infantry force does get cleaned up. He does pick off 1 High Templar there, but let's take a look at the units lost, and seems like Select still behind by just a little bit. but we also see his income is about 300 minerals higher and about 150 gas higher than Mana. So that means even though he has lost a bit more, he can afford to lose a bit more, at least for now. He has to trade cost efficiently overall, but for the time being, he is going to be in about equal shape. Mana morphing in a lot of Archons here in the center, and the High Templar as well. He does have the Zealot here, which is going to maintain control of the tower. Looks like Mana is going to run up, but he has to be very careful. The Zealots are getting split up. They are going to run in and do a fair amount of damage, but the stutter step from Select might just be too good, and Mana does pull back right there, and that was not necessarily the best. The Zealots engaged without any support from Archons or High Templar or Colossi. The Stalkers all up in the top right hand corner. I'm not exactly sure what they were looking for. I didn't really see, and I apologize for that. I know more people call for the units tab in my game. So let's take a look as this army is about to engage, and there are a bunch of cloaked ghosts. Are they going to go down? They get some pretty good EMPs, but a lot of them do get stormed on, but all of the High Templar did get picked off. The first Colossi goes down, and right now it is just charge lots against almost a pure bio ball, and oh my god, Mana, this is not looking good. He's going to lose all of these units. So taking a look at the units tab, all Mana has is 3 High Templar, a Colossi, a Stalker, and 13 Zealots against 15 Marauders, 14 Marines, and 5 Ghosts. And of course, that does not seem like a huge imbalance, but particularly with that +3 attack, these bio units are going to do so much damage here. Mana getting close to being mined out at that natural. He does have the third up and running again, as well as the natural. So both players are in good shape economically, but we do see Select has the distinct supply advantage at this point. He's producing units very quickly. He's producing Marines and Marauders 4 at a time, as well as Vikings. Ghosts are coming out as well, and yeah, we see him getting a lot of Marauders, and he's just doing a very good job keeping up on those upgrades. He's got the Terran Infantry Armor level 3 on the way. And Mana being scanned, he knows that often can indicate that an attack is going to be coming soon, which has the potential to be a killing blow if Mana does not get a very good concave here, or if he cannot engage in a good position. Of course, out in the middle of the map like this, these charge lots do have the potential to get a very big surround, which can be really good. We do see Select going for a drop right there, so try and keep tabs on that in the top right-hand corner, as these units have the potential to engage in the center. Mana running up a Zealot to see what is happening. It looks like Select about to be maxed here. He has 1 supply from being to 200 at 200. Mana is at 175, and he does drop these units. Not entirely sure why. Looks like he is just going to run straight into here. A bit of an engagement about to happen, but nothing major. You can see none of these units have even taken hull damage. And Select is going to run in here. He's going to snipe the cannons very fast. They go down extremely quickly. The High Templar dying immediately. And if he is not careful, he could lose this Nexus as well, or a lot of workers. Warping some Zealots in the back, pulling a whole bunch more from the front. But at the same time, this cues Select to move into the third of Mana with his entire army. And if Mana is not careful, he's going to lose everything here. His army will be segmented, but we have a bunch of High Templar and not very many Ghosts in this composition. We can see there are 5 with a good amount of energy, but will it be enough to get EMPs off all of this army? We'll have to see. There might have to be some money EMPs. There is a drop going up here, but the Zealots do pick it off. The units dancing back and forth in the center of the map, just trying to pick off each other. And in a second, I will look at exactly how many gateways Mana has. It looks like he is going to be pulling back for now. So we do see actually a very good number of gateways for him. I was going to be worried that he wouldn't quite have enough, but we do have, what is that, 13 gateways. He might want to add maybe 1 or 2 more, but we can see he is starting to build up a bit of a bank now. But surprisingly, he has not been maxed for long enough to really accumulate one, being forced to constantly warp in units to deal with these drops. And is there going to be engagement? He's going to engage up the choke, or he was going to, an EMP going down on the Archon, but engaging up this ramp is not necessarily going to be a very good idea. These medevacs do not have units left, but they are for sure scouting the Marine as well. Standing Watch has the potential to do a lot of damage to this expansion. Not really, but you know, he can dream, can't he? He wants that promotion really bad. Big fight coming here. EMPs getting almost every single Zealot. Mana is going to be running in. The Colossi going down, but not quite fast enough. Select bringing back only about half of his units. Dodging a storm right there. Good anticipatory storm from Mana, kind of forcing Select's units to either stay back or take a lot of damage. But he is going to be going for the 4th of Select right here. And keep in mind, this is one of 2 mining bases. He is going to be repairing it with a lot of SCVs. Storm going down, killing a whole bunch. That expansion is going to go go down, but is the positioning going to be good enough for him to survive here now? It looks like dSelecT is going to be pulling back. His stim did wear off, and all these units in the red and orange. We take a look at the workers killed. Mana is actually up to 30. Was that what it was? 34. Yes, 34 workers killed. So very good right there. You can see dSelecT only at 41 workers. The unit's coming back in again. All the stims going down on all of these units. The Zealots running in, the Colossi trying to do as much damage as they can, but you see those charge lots have almost totally evaporated, and all these Stalkers and Colossi doing as much damage as they can, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to overcome this Marine Marauder force. Looks like no, they will not. These units just too well upgraded with that 3-3. The Colossi is going to go down, and sorry about that little bit of laughing just at the beginning, because I just laughed thinking of myself going, stim going down on all the units. Just the little meme. I'm sure all of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. But so far, units lost tab. We see dSelecT is still behind by about 3,000 resources. He has been similarly behind almost the entire game. Mana might want to get these probes that are no longer mining. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is certainly going into the late game. So what do I know about late game macro for Terran and Protoss players? I know if you're Protoss, a lot of Vikings going down there, and by a lot I mean about 2, but all those hits count, especially because the Archons do the splash damage. But Mana playing as he should, adding on a whole bunch of gateways so he can reinforce and remax very quickly. dSelecT does, let's take a look at his production. He's on, what is that, 8 barracks right now. And of course the Ghost Academy, does he have any more? And other parts of the map he does have 3 over here. So he is on 11 barracks, and we actually have a huge number of units coming in up here. They might be able to snipe this base again before it even goes up. They have the potential to kill a lot of pros, but no, Mana with those lightning quick reflexes is aware that this is happening, saves any pros from dying. Is he going to cancel it? He does not get the cancel off. So that is 400 resources lost from Mana. He only has 1 base left mining, and that only has about 1,000 resources left. So this actually might be swinging in dSelecT's favor. He did lose his base, but it is up. It is existent. dSelecT, of course, this one as well, and he can fly his bases. Mana, however, does not have that luxury. These units running it here, they are going to pick off the Nexus, and this is the last mining base from Mana. He's pulling all of his probes, but at this point, we take a look at his income. It is going to plummet to virtually 0 here. He has about 200 probably in constant income, not even. He is down to about 20. And all of that is from long distance mining. So from here on out, unless Mana can somehow get a base up, we are just going to see dSelecT's army size increase as his decreases from the engagement. So it does look like they are going to be engaging here, but there are no Zealots to support this Archon Colossi army doing a lot of damage, but it looks like a lot of the units are going to fall here. The Colossi pulling back, but the Protoss army being extremely cost effective, actually cleaning up a lot more of those units than I thought they would. So we do see he picked off almost that entire army, but he is down 90 to 104 supply, and he is still managing to stay ahead in the units lost, but he doesn't have an economy, guys. He is at 140 mineral income, 112 on the gas, whereas we see dSelecT going strong as ever with all these mules at this new base up here, as well as this base which was rebuilt down here. SCV's transferring over. He's on, what is it, triple orbital? No, quadruple orbital, because he does have a 3rd one here, a 4th over here. So he can just drop those mules all day. We see the production tab of Mana. It is very sad. There's nothing happening there. Does he have any idea of this base? No, he doesn't. He is going to be losing a unit here. So now dSelecT has control of the tower. And I'm actually not sure what Mana is going to be able to do here. He is down by about 30 supply. Every second he does an attack, he's just going to fall further and further behind. It really could all come down to this High Templar. If he can get a very clutch storm, it could be beautiful, but otherwise he might be in trouble. Looks like he actually has observer speed. Look at how fast that thing is. Looks like he is going to be running up here, seeing if he can pick this off, but another Marine Marauder contingency running into the probes here, and look at all these probes, long distance mining. Good God, he's got like 2 pages of them, and a bunch of them going down right there. We see units lost is up to 59 workers killed for dSelecT and 49 for Mana. Of course, he is killing a few more here, but looks like we do see dSelecT just waiting out here with his army, splitting it up so that the Colossi and High Templar won't do as much damage, putting that Ghost out front. is these units all just standing here, and they say no long distance mining for you. Mana does have a Nexus on the way, and he has these units out here, but we do have an engagement coming down, and look at how many units dSelecT has. He knows that is not good positioning, but for him to lose this battle, it will be almost impossible. EMP's getting everything, and there's the GG from Mana. He knew there was nothing he could do there, so what a game from both players. I would say a rather slow start, perhaps, a very big macro game, but it started to pick up when the armies we saw for almost the entire second half of the game just dancing back and forth out here in the middle, just like, and then the whole time there were drops going on from dSelecT, and really, I think it just came down to the fact that while Mana did manage to disrupt the economy a little bit, dSelecT did much more. Sniping bases in particular ended up being kind of Mana's downfall. So there is game number 2 from this best of 3 series. Don't know if I mentioned it was a best of 3. Game 1 is already up on my channel. Go check it out if you didn't already. Little bit of a, well, we're going to game 3. I'm not going to spoil it, but because the players are now 1-1, I guess who you can win the first, or you can probably guess who won the first game. So I'll see you guys in a bit with that next game.